Growing up with a sister isn't always the Hallmark movie experience people imagine. For me, it was more like living with my own personal tormentor. My sister Sarah was 3 years older, and she made it her mission to make my life interesting, to put it mildly. The ear-rolling, the accidental spills on my favorite clothes, the way she'd tell her friends embarrassing stories about me. It was all part of our daily routine. I used to lie awake at night, wondering what I'd done to deserve a sister who seemed to hate me so much. But everything changed on that October evening. I was walking home from dance practice, taking my usual shortcut through Palmer Park, when a van pulled up beside me. I barely had time to react before everything went dark. The next 48 hours were a blur of fear and confusion. Being tied up in a cold basement, hearing muffled voices discussing ransoms, wondering if I'd ever see my family again. But do you know what I thought about most? Sarah. Not my parents, not my friends, my bully of a sister. And then came the moment that changed everything. The police raid was chaos. Shouting, footsteps thundering above, and suddenly there was Sarah. She had been the one who figured out where I might be. Apparently, she'd spent every waking moment working with the police, piecing together clues from my social media, my routine, everything she knew about me. You see, that's the thing about sisters. Even when they're pushing you away, they're paying attention. All those years of torment, she knew every detail of my life because she'd never stopped watching, never stopped caring in her own twisted way. The ride home from the police station was silent, but different from our usual hostile silence. I caught her looking at me in the rearview mirror, her eyes red from crying. That night, she crept into my room and just sat there, not saying anything for the longest time. Finally, she whispered, "I thought I'd lost my chance to be your sister." It wasn't an instant fairy tale ending. We had years of hurt to work through, and trust me, we still drive each other crazy sometimes. But that incident became our bridge, from enemies to something more like friends. We started small, actually listening when the other spoke, defending each other at family gatherings, sharing clothes without the usual drama. Now, when people ask about my relationship with my sister, I tell them it took a kidnapping for us to find our way to each other. Sometimes, the worst moments in our lives become the turning points we never knew we needed. Sarah is still a pain sometimes, but now she's my